Robert Horniman was a British novelist, vegetarian, and proponent of alternate medicine. He was born in 1868 in Southsea, Hampshire, the son of William Horniman, Paymaster-in-Chief of the Royal Navy, and Sarah Esther Foster. He was educated at Southsea Grammar School and at Bruges, Belgium. He was an actor at Trafalgar Square Theatre, the Criterion Theatre, and Lyceum Theatre, among others. During World War I, he was a treasurer of the Blue Cross Fund. He died at Notting Hill, London in 1930. We will cover his first novel, the 1900, The Sin of Atlantis. Briefly, it is a 300-page domestic melodrama about the Duke of Havant being in love with a maid from Norway named Helga, and she with him, and how because of the massive gulf between their positions and the Duke's unhappy loveless marriage they can never be together. This includes everyone around them being shocked and horrified at the mere concept of them treating each other equally. The Duke's former nanny seriously wondering whether the Duke coming over to have tea with Helga with no one else present was, quote, premeditated or not, like it was an actual crime. In the meantime, the Duke goes to hang out with Lever and Broadhurst, a pair of vague-booking occultists, the former of whom wants to cause the Duke to fall, quote-unquote, to obtain a secret hidden away in his psyche. We also spend a lot of time being told the Duke cannot possibly divorce his wife, despite the fact he finds out she never loved him and married him only for money and status. And we are told she doesn't even want him around and goes to cheat on him in the country. But because the people expect him to, quote, always have his domestic affairs in order, he just can't divorce her because shut up. After 2 brief allusions to Atlantis, we finally get a flashback to it 25 pages before the end, where we see the Duke in a past life as being the last priest king of Atlantis, who caused the destruction of the continent because he made love to the Vestal Virgin Helga in a past life, who also loved him. Oh, and he also opened the box. So the violent deaths of millions of people who did neither of those things as a result are, according to Horniman, fully justified. There's also griffins, pterodactyls, and huge Amazonian women for about 2 pages in the flashback, before we go back to the boring contemporary romance, and also spend time on the Duke's unloving wife being manipulated into converting to Roman Catholicism, which we spend several chapters on and which has no bearing on the plot whatsoever. In the end, the Duke sends Helga away forever and goes to Tibet for 2 years because that's satisfying. We covered the works of R.R. Ryan in episodes 134 and 393. Today we will cover the third and last of his novels on Karl Edward Wagner's list of 39 best horror novels. The 1938 Freak Museum. Bridget, a pregnant Irish woman down on her luck, is tricked into a nursing home, whose proprietor, Axe, gets her a job at his Freak Museum next door. It turns out the museum is mostly irrelevant to Axe's schemes beyond making sure Bridget stays confined there. He wants to use her as part of a massive yet vague conspiracy to overthrow the British government. When she refuses, he drugs her and has her perform naked as a woman with a dog's brain. Robert Passport, a down on his luck globetrotter, also finds himself at the museum, falls in love with Bridget and tries to get her away, especially to escape the attention of the human octopus. Not like that. When killing every policeman who comes to ask about Passport, it doesn't make the police stop being suspicious, for some reason, and they actually send up more officers as a result. Axe wants to run away after throwing all his freaks into a giant vat of acid. But Passport and co. manage to get out when Axe comes to retrieve a cipher that Passport stole, but we never get a proper death scene for Axe. And the book ends without a proper denouement the second Passport and Bridget step out of the cellar they were confined in, without us finding out what happened to them after. The worst part is we barely see any of the freaks, like the human stomach, the human tiger, the human swordfish, etc. And the freak show seems forced onto this espionage plot without much reason.